1960s was a big decade for Peanuts. It was during this time that they made the TV specials, dozens of commercials, the subject of popular songs by the Royal Guardsmen, and appeared on countless merchandise. While the strip began in the 50s, it was the 60s where Peanuts became a household name. So what better way to end the decade with their first theatrical movie? A Boy Named Charlie Brown is a movie about failure. Specifically, it's about Charlie Brown's failures. The poor kid can't seem to succeed at anything, whether it be playing baseball, flying a kite, or even tic-tac-toe. Linus does his best to offer words of encouragement, while Lucy does her best at making him feel worse. The Van Pelt siblings sure have a different way of treating Charlie Brown. One day, their class is holding a spelling bee. Lucy jokingly suggests to Charlie Brown that he should enter. Linus thinks it's a good idea. So with his encouragement, Charlie Brown enters the spelling bee. And to everyone's surprise, he wins. This allows him to enter the spelling bee for the entire school. With a little help from Linus and Snoopy, he spends the night studying. The next day, he wins the school spelling bee. For once, things are starting to look up for Charlie Brown. The other kids start to respect him. Charlie Brown is happy to succeed at something. But he has no interest in taking it further. Lucy, however, has other plans. She recognizes that she can make a lot of money off Charlie Brown, so she decides to appoint herself as his agent. Well, at least she's willing to help, I guess. The others pressure Charlie Brown to enter the National Spelling Bee in New York. Even though he doesn't want to, Charlie Brown agrees. Just before getting on the bus, Linus gives Charlie Brown his blanket as a good luck charm. Linus later regrets this decision, and he and Snoopy go to New York to get it back. Only Charlie Brown misplaced it. Although Linus has every right to be mad at him, I do think he was a little hard on Charlie Brown. He does have a lot of things on his mind that are more important than that blanket. After a pointless scene of Linus and Snoopy trying to find the blanket, it turns out it was at the hotel room the whole time. Charlie Brown does very well at the National Spelling Bee. The kids at home are watching it on TV, and they're cheering him on for a change. It boils down to him and one other kid. It looks like he could win. Then he misspells the word beagle. His dog is a beagle, and he misspells it. Lucy no longer wants to be his agent because, in her own words, owning 10% of Charlie Brown is 10% of nothing. That's a little harsh. He came in second place in the National Spelling Bee. That's still pretty good. Snoopy and Linus accompany the dejected Charlie Brown home. It was a good thing they were with him, for there was nobody there to welcome him home. Again, he came in second. That's a lot better than he usually does. Charlie Brown is so depressed about losing the spelling bee that he doesn't want to leave his bed. Linus comes over to let him know that everyone missed him at school. He then tells Charlie Brown he understands how he feels about losing the spelling bee. But then he adds, the world didn't come to an end. Charlie Brown decides to go outside, sees Lucy holding the football, runs to kick it. She pulls it away. He falls on his back, and Lucy then welcomes him back. In a warped way, that was pretty nice of her. A Boy Named Charlie Brown is the worst of the Peanuts movies. The story feels like it could have worked better as an hour-long special rather than a full-length movie. There are a lot of scenes like playing the national anthem, Schroeder playing his piano, and Snoopy pretending like he's a World War I flying ace that, while beautiful to look at, could have easily been cut out without affecting the story. The songs, while not bad, are not too memorable, besides the title song and I before E, except after C. Does this mean A Boy Named Charlie Brown is a bad movie? Not at all. It was nice to see Charlie Brown succeed at something. Seeing the other kids start to believe in him was a nice change of pace. I also like how after losing, Linus tells Charlie Brown the other kids missed him at school. This shows they actually care about him, even after losing. Charlie Brown's decision to never leave his bed again after losing does feel relatable. Who hasn't felt like that? The message of A Boy Named Charlie Brown is its best part. It acknowledges that, yes, you will fail. No matter how hard you work, sometimes you will fail, and it sucks when you do. How many kids' movies are willing to say that? It may sound like a bleak message, but it offers hope. Just because you fail, the world doesn't end. There are other opportunities to prove yourself. You're only a loser if you give up. Some interesting facts about this movie is that it was the last time Peter Robbins voiced Charlie Brown, though his OG would be used for various characters up to the 90s. The instrument Snoopy plays is called a Jew harp, or a mouth harp. He would use it in other Peanuts movies, and it is now often called a Snoopy harp. A Boy Named Charlie Brown is like its title character. Not perfect, but still good. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.